This is Q&A part 2, answering your questions. I did a part 1 a while back, and I forgot to do a part 2, so here's a part 2. And Rosie asks, do you ever regret changing your web design company into an advertisement company? And did you feel like you changed it because of lack of skills in that area? I think really, Rosie, you're answering your own question a little bit there, because that little bit there is true. We didn't really feel like we had knowledge in doing what we did to to stay in that field, being a web design agency. A web design company takes a lot more skill, and it did take a lot out of me at the time. I've still kept some of my work up on Facebook of what I did. My role in the company was to write contracts. It was to write briefs and stuff. And because I didn't know the job, it was just became very tedious and boring and just pointless. And when you do a tedious, boring, pointless job, it's more or less the same as being in a toxic job. Only if you're in a toxic job, get out of that quick, because, yeah. Phil Warnett asks, oh crumbs, I've got my narcotics in the background here. They're just hay fever medication. Suffer from the old hay fever. I don't have a favourite ad. I don't really have a favourite ad anymore. I used to. My favourite ad that I did was the Sefton Pride one, because we put a lot of work into it, and it still is the favourite ad that I do. But my favourite project is the one that I'm doing at the minute, which, excuse me, I can't say what it is, but yeah, that's my favourite job that I'm doing at the minute. So yeah, at the moment, I don't really have a favourite ad, because all the ads I do, I love. And I'm starting to copy my friend. I'm learning from him a little bit, because with the job that I do, a lot of the stuff I do, I'm not really into, but this job that I'm doing at the moment, this ad that I'm doing at the moment, is something that I absolutely love with a passion. So that's where this ad is really my baby, and and it is for a friend. So, when you start working for friends as well, when you start doing jobs for friends, then that also, whatever job it is, it's, and we're also advertising someone else. Another job, another project, just as an example, that I don't really like the artist, but I'm going to love the ad because, again, it's for another friend. So I'm not going to I don't really enjoy the artist so much. I like some of his songs, but yeah, I don't really enjoy the ad so much. I don't really enjoy the artist so much. I like some of his songs, but there's the thing. But I would do, even if it's an artist that I don't like, don't listen to, don't care for so much, I would still advertise them. Why? Because that's my job. That's my job. And it's like, I've learned this. It's advertising is better than being in radio because you don't necessarily enjoy the artist or you don't like the artist per se. It might not be something that you listen to. Even if it's an artist you love, you've got to sort of hold back on it a little. You know what I mean? You've got to hold back on it because you might like an artist, but then again, you might it might throw you, when it comes to doing the job. And therefore, it might, and it comes with anything. It might be anything you're working on. I spoke to somebody who was doing a finish on GTA a few years ago, and he said it was one of his favourite games, but it ended up not being his favourite job because he couldn't, there were certain things, and it's the same thing. And if I did do a job for an artist that I absolutely loved and had so much passion for, I think I would love it. But then again, there'd be something that I'd have to hold back on. You know what I mean? And I really have to start listening to the art directors and the art people because I'm not an artist, but then I've actually got someone to work with. And I've learned that lesson with the Sefton Pride ad, putting too much flags and it sort of waylaid the project a bit. So, and I'm listening to the art people because if you listen to them, I'm not an artist. And to be honest, advertisements, they are works of art in their own right. But sometimes when you listen to somebody, it's like somebody would listen to me as an audio guy, when it comes to mixing audio advertisement, which we will be doing soon. But when you start doing stuff, and it's like, ooh, it sounds a bit rough here, or it sounds a bit, So you have to listen to people who know their stuff. Like Rob Hubbard, who was an absolute genius. Gary Biceni asks, Why do you not talk about YouTube business opportunities? Can you make money in YouTube? Is there money to be made in YouTube? Well, YouTube... The problem with the business side of YouTube is you have to... you have to really know the market with YouTube. That's the problem with YouTube. You have to know the market. And if you don't know the market for YouTube, and the thing is, you're more or less marketing yourself on YouTube. That's what comes the that's what comes the willy up your bum situation. You know, that's how anal it sounds. But all right, I'll give you an instance, right? People say on YouTube, don't look at your statistics. You should look at your statistics, right? All the time. Views don't matter, right? Because, how can I answer this question with... See, the thing is, the way I do YouTube is this, right? Views are nice to have. Subscribers are nice to have. But your watch time is the most important thing. And you see, nobody tells you that. Because if people watch your videos more than they subscribe, then, and sometimes, here's a little tip for you. Sometimes YouTube will give you subscribers in order for your watch time. If you've had, say, I've forgotten how many hours of watch time it is. If it's so many hours of watch time, sometimes it spills into the subscriber flow. And I've seen that. I've looked at my graph and thought, oh, hold on here. Why has it got watch time there and subscribers there? And the reason is sometimes YouTube will owe you a subscriber or two for your watch time. So, and subscribers do count, but not as much as your watch time, and your watch time does really, really count. And also, there is a hack with shorts, and there always has been and always will be, because YouTube are pushing it. And they're doing it very differently to TikTok, because in the beginning, YouTube Shorts was a copy of TikTok, but now it's changed because YouTube Shorts actually does promote your long form content. And I always think sometimes Shorts is better than long form, because Shorts will add... people watch Shorts a lot more than long form, so people will come to your channel for Shorts. And sometimes it can be the other way. Sometimes people will go to your channel for long form. Think of it like this. Think of your channel like a book, right? Say you do a long form video. Sometimes it's good to have a short form video as the blurb for the long form. It's good for, say, if you're doing a podcast and you want to promote the podcast. Sometimes it's good to have a snippet of the podcast. I do that on my other channel. I have a podcast which I do every week. And I'll sometimes, not all the time, if there's a good point in that podcast, I'll make a short. And the short gets more views than the long form video, but it directs people to the long form. So they can go, oh, yeah, that's a good thing. It's like if you're flicking through a book. Sometimes a short gives you the flick through. Doesn't, excuse me, doesn't all the time, but does some of the time. And also, a short video might just give you a flick through the whole entire channel. And that's why people come to you. But people don't check the channel these days. Like, I check the channel, I'll see a short and I'll go and like, where's the long form? You know, because I think sometimes the shorts do give a lot of meat and a lot of beef, but long form videos give you more of the beef. But the business side to it, you've got to do more, because you've got to show up a lot more with YouTube. You've got to put a lot of time in. You know, it's not like all these apps there now where you just sit on an app and people throw you money, which is basically online begging. It's not, it's literally like sitting on the street and people throwing money in a hat. It's literally what some of these apps do, right? And they make it as like, wow, you can sit on an app and invest. Yeah. But there's a catch there. Just remember there's a catch. Now, getting back to YouTube, right? So you have your subscribers there, you have your watch time there, and you have your whatever it is. And what happens is when people, you have to think what people come to your channel for. This channel's so mixed because it was always like that. This channel's like a long form version of TikTok, what TikTok is now, but then it changed. It fell into the vlog category very fast.